Jake Paul insists that he is serious about improving the pay of UFC's traditionally low-paid fighters. The genuineness of those attempts has been questioned, which is understandable given Paul's well-deserved reputation as an internet troll who will pull any prank. Whether you agree with the problem child or not, it's much more difficult to maintain the narrative that Paul's sole motivation is personal gain. Stick around to find out everything you need to know about Jake Paul and how he is trying to garner more respect in the fighting community. First, let's talk about Jake Paul and why he is fighting for respect. The man who introduced himself as Promoter Paul on Monday is certain that starting with Taylor versus Serrano, he will change the way boxing fans regard him. In the year 2022, it would be difficult to mention the name Jake Paul in a boxing-related social media forum without being bombarded with comments like, "What a scam," and "He needs to fight a genuine boxer." However, 2022 is expected to be the year in which the controversial YouTube personality's impact on the sport is largely beneficial. In comparison to the efforts of legitimate full-time boxers, his in-ring fights against streaming celebrities, retired pro basketball players, and crossover MMA names have so far been sideshow attractions, but they have still managed to attract large audiences and introduce new eyes to the sport as a whole. As a result, Paul has been able to offer much larger undercard paydays to long-respected fighters like Amanda Serrano, a 7-weight women's world champion in the sweet science, and now the 25-year-old is set to co-promote the biggest fight in women's boxing history as Serrano takes on undisputed lightweight champion Katie Taylor. Paul's greatest contribution to the sport will most likely be with the Cleveland man outside the ring, as our own Mark Lelandwala beautifully put it last week. When the Taylor-Serrano media tour arrived in London on Monday, I asked him what he thinks boxing fans will think in 5 years, in 2027. When asked, "What do you think of Jake Paul in boxing?" "They will say that I was great for the sport, that they respect me, and that they were wrong," was Paul's answer. "They'll say they cannot believe what has happened and admit that their perspective of me has changed." Whether you agree with the YouTuber turned boxer or not, it's becoming more difficult to maintain the narrative that the only reason Jake Paul is in the realm is for personal gain when he points out the UFC's inequitable income splits and absence of long-term healthcare coverage for its fighters. Even if his seeming emphasis on fighter well-being is only a series of deft tactics by a social media-savvy individual seeking to sway public opinion in his favor, he is assisting a few people along the road. The problem child claims that his investment fund's plan to buy stock in Endeavor, the UFC's parent company, is all about disrupting the UFC's business model. So, with such a little investment in Endeavor, a $14 billion market cap company, how does Paul, who says he wants to form a fighters union, hope to have any significant impact on how the UFC operates? He says, "It starts with one person doubting everything. Now that we've taken this stance, there are other wealthy people who want to support us and join the campaign." Despite his common public perception, his interest in UFC and their rights has definitely boosted his image positively and garnered the YouTuber turned boxer more respect. Whatever he invests in or promotes, the focus is unmistakably on what Paul, who is presently 5-0, does when the gloves are laced on. His professional boxing career began as a publicity gimmick, with his first 2 professional wins occurring in 2020 against fellow YouTuber Ann Gibb and retired NBA player Nate Robinson. His subsequent victories enhanced his credibility. Last April, he knocked out former Bellator MMA and one championship champion Ben Askren in the first round of their fight, and to close out the year, he defeated former UFC champion Tyron Woodley twice, the second of which concluded in a 6th-round KO that left Woodley slumped on the mat. It was dubbed the knockout of the year by ESPN, and the term rigged was trending on Twitter by the time Paul got on social media to celebrate. Even yet, there's a widespread feeling that Paul needs to face tougher competition before he's fully regarded as a boxer, rather than just a contentious social media sensation who's discovered another way to attract millions of viewers. But he wants all the smoke, as the youngsters say. Jake Paul claims Tommy Fury withdrawing is more embarrassing than getting knocked out. Here's everything you need to know. Jake Paul, a social media sensation, feels light heavyweight prospect Tommy Fury is still hurting from pulling out of their December 2021 match. In the main event of last year's Showtime pay-per-view bill, the two boxers were due to face off. Fury withdrew from the bout due to a rib injury and a chest infection as the fight date approached. Tyron Woodley, a previous UFC world champion, was brought in to replace him, and Paul viciously knocked him out in the 6th round. Tommy Fury withdrawing from the fight due to illness is more embarrassing than him fighting and losing. It's bad either way for him, but this way will be a huge regret for the rest of his life, Paul told the Associated Press. He does appear to be depressed, as he is complaining on Instagram about fans attacking him and claiming he didn't fake an injury. He seemed to be going through it. Paul continues to be skeptical about Fury's injury claim. He cites Fury's older brother, WBC heavyweight champion Tyson Fury, for his remarks. Tyson Fury boasted during a media day that his brother will beat Paul despite a damaged rib and a terrible cold. "I think they knew that day that they were going to use the broken rib as an excuse. use, so they leaked it, Paul said. Additionally, fans have accused Tommy Fury of ducking Jake Paul after he posted footage of his comeback to training. Last December, the British star was scheduled to fight Paul to resolve their feud, but he ended up withdrawing due to an apparent broken rib. For the first time since his accident, he has been photographed in training with his father, John, who was deeply involved in the competition with Paul. Fans have criticized Fury on social media, with one user writing, "You ducked Jake Paul, Tommy Fumbles, but you ran from Jake Paul, so you're coming from everything," one follower criticized his caption. Another concurred, "Tommy Fumbles, there's no going back for you. You backed away from a YouTuber. Coming for nothing, running away, you lose everything. Run away and just keep fleeing." One fan continued to ridicule Fury. A fan continued his scathing criticism of Fury, demanding, "Not Jake Paul? Hurry up and take him out." Another supporter made a daring declaration at the end. "Instead of YouTubers and 150-pound wrestlers, I'd rather see you fight other boxing prospects. You've stated that you want to be a world champion. You won't get there by fighting Jake Paul and other YouTubers." After confronting Paul after his first fight with Tyron Woodley, Fury was ready to meet him in the ring to resolve their long-standing animosity. With the fight widely regarded as his best, he has yet to encounter a true challenge in his early boxing career. It's pretty painfully clear that fans don't really care to see this fight go down, and Fury basically lost his chance to take on Paul. Fans and viewers really want to see both of these social media stars turned boxers get in the ring with legitimate boxers. No more exhibition matches. Tyson Fury bout set, and is going to be one of the biggest in the history of the sport. After the most successful purse bid in boxing history, heavyweight superstar Tyson Fury will defend his WBC title against fellow Brit Dillian Whyte. Fury's British promoter, Frank Warren, won the right to stage the bout with a bid of $41,025,000 US, $58.6 million AUD, surpassing Matchroom Boxing's $32,222,222 US, or $46 million AUD. Fury will receive 80% of the purse, $46 million AUD, while Whyte receives 20%, $11.7 million AUD. Undefeated Fury just won his second fight against Deontay Wilder, capping off a thrilling trilogy of fights, and will now face Whyte, a first-time world title challenger. The fight probably took place in the United Kingdom. "I can't wait to punch Whyte's face in," Fury has previously said. He continued claiming, "I'll give him the best hiding he's ever had. Whyte, train hard, because you are getting annihilated. This bout is going to be massive," and that even feels like an understatement. Can you believe, regardless if Fury wins or loses, he will still receive $46 million for one fight? Insane, right? But there is no way we'll be missing this fight. Make sure to tune in. And there you have it. Everything you need to know about Jake Paul and why he is fighting for the respect of the public and boxing community. Additionally, we touched on why Paul is starting to garner respect from UFC legends and the community, as he is standing up for better pay and working rights for the UFC fighters. We also touched on the ongoing Tommy Fury and Jake Paul drama. It seems like Fury now wants to get back in the ring with the problem child. However, it seems Jake isn't that interested. Make sure to let us know your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss any of our new and upcoming content. Thanks for watching.